and welcome back. Now, new project today, slight continuation of an old project, moving on to damage. Now, a little while ago I put some handguards or bars onto the Bandit to provide some protection to the hands. Now, it was always my intention to put handguards onto those bars, since the plastic ones that came with the bars no longer fitted because I had to bend the bars. So it's time to continue on with the armour theme, and let's see how this works out.
Now, by bars on the handlebars, this is what I meant. These sort of buster bars that protect the hand when you're off-road from tree branches and such, anything that's going to smack your fingers while you're riding off-road. Provides a similar function if you're filtering and accidentally clip a car mirror. Obviously you don't want to do that, but should you do so, what you don't want to be doing is ending up with bruised or broken fingers as a result. So what I want is just to provide a little cup on this to provide a little bit of weather protection and to match the look of the fly shield. So this is roughly the sort of idea of where I want it to be. It'll be a similar look made of this fairly thin and flexible steel with plates riveted on. So that's the plan. It would be interesting to see how hard it is to make a much more complex shape to fit onto here than this. Future project will be to remount this. At the moment it's just bolted onto the back of the clocks, but what I notice is that particularly at speed this tends to wobble quite a lot, and it flexes the clocks more than I think they probably were designed for. So I intend to remount this either directly onto the forks or possibly onto these bars. Probably the forks, I think, because these are actually a little bit flexible in themselves, so probably not the best thing to double up the flexibility. Okay.
So this is what I have to work with. It's a piece of 0.5mm steel plate that was part of the garden shed before I built the current shed, and at that it's one of the thicker pieces of steel from the garden shed. The rest of it was corrugated. It was so thin, I don't know, it's maybe 1/4 mil. It's certainly very thin, very flexible. This stuff you can bend it by hand relatively easily, which makes it easier for me to work. And it's the same thing that the fly screen on the bike is made out of. So I have here the pattern, so it's just a question of now marking out and cutting out the tin snips. Okay, basic shape cut out. Okay, so this is where it will go. Now there are 3 holes drilled in this bar which have threaded inserts, which makes life an awful lot easier. But basically it's going to go here, and then it's got to bend round here, and that's the first and most simple of the curves. Let's see if I can get a little bit of bend into this on the tyre. It's not really bending very much. But so I can see roughly where the bend point is going to be. So it's going to be involved, I think, hitting with a hammer. better, but quite a long way to go. Okay, hammer time. Okay, let's have some hammering then. Let's actually shape the metal a little bit more on this handy piece of scaffold. Right, a bit too much of a bend there, but that will allow me an initial shaping. Okay, as I thought, a bit too extreme, and but that's easily resolved, and not quite enough curved, deep enough, early enough. So let's add a bit. The trouble with doing it by hand is it tends to just put a crease in. Rather than a curve. Okay, that's pretty much spot on. So now I need to mark the centre line where it's going to bolt to the bar. So time to retire the scaffold and get pen and paper working. Now, it would have been easier, of course, to have marked this line when this was flat. Oh well, too late now. So let's see if I can just estimate it. Because I also need to drill the holes. Now, okay. Now, of course, I just realised you couldn't see that. So now we have a centre line with a piece of paper. So now I just need to estimate where the holes are going to need to be. Do this very accurately by eye. That'll do. Okay, let's see what we can drill. Let's see if I can reposition you a little bit. It's a bit awkward. I don't really have any good mount on here. Right. I could centre punch these, but experience of drilling with this metal is that it doesn't seem to make an awful lot of difference. And here's a rat pike. After all, let's not get carried away. Maybe I should use a smaller drill. Okay, let's see what this looks like on the bike. Okay, so these are the inserts that go, say, into the bars. So just a threaded insert. If I can get them in with my butterfingers. Holes are a little bit clogged with paint and a little bit closed up from having been bent at the hole. So I'm taking these apart to and now I'm losing them. All good stuff. Okay, let's see if that one will pull in a bit. Okay, so this is the handguard. Let's see how well these holes line up. If all three line up, it's going to be a miracle. Well, they line up, it's fairly close to the bar. of tweaking, I think. Let's just put this one in. Okay, that's interesting. It's not fully in either. Okay. Okay, there's a fully in. So that's an initial view of how it's going to look. Now it needs to become curved in these directions as well. So for that, I'm just going to cut it down here, and then start bending. So time to take it back off and cut it and put it back on. See you guys in a minute. Okay, I suspect I forgot to hit record there. So where I am now is that I have, one moment, let me grab you here. Okay, so as I say, I'm not sure how much video I missed there. So what I've done now is I've just hammered and bent by hand using hammer and the curves on this extension, just to curve those edges around. You can see there's a bit of a gap here at the moment, but just to curve this, bring it round into a curve and just clamp it here. With this clamped, I'll just work this metal a little bit more to get it about right, but if I'm happy, that's where it's going to clamp. Now from a rider point of view, this top edge is curving in quite a bit here, but at the end of the day it's perfectly free for my hands to be doing whatever I need to. So let me just bash around that a little bit more and then we'll see about sticking a rivet in.